study 9.27, Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 27th verse. And if time permits, then we'll move on to 9.28 also. Okay, so let's get started. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verse is Yat karashi yadasnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapassasi kunteya tat kurushva madarpanam yat karoshi yadasnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapassasi kunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So the word for word is yat, whatever, karoshi, you do, yat, whatever, asnasi, you eat, yat, whatever, juhoshi, you offer, dadasi, you give away, yat, whatever, tapassasi, austerities you perform, konteya, or son of Kunti, tat, that, kurushba, do, mat, unto me, arpanam, as an offering. So now translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Om Agyanam Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati So Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Savdaitam Savdhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So, in the last session, when we discussed about the 26th verse of 9th chapter, we discussed Patram Pushpam Phalam Tayam. So, Krishna is very much pleased if we offer just one flower, one leaf, one fruit, and little bit of water with love and devotion. That is the most important thing, with love and devotion. Then Krishna eats that. Krishna accepts that. So he is putting a very, very concessional proposal in front of us. Most of us can do more than that, but he is putting the bare minimum limit for us, which we can easily do. Anybody can pluck a flower, and from anywhere they can pluck a flower, a tulsi leaf, one fruit, and little water. A very poor person also can satisfy Krishna with this. So that's the level of concession Krishna provides for us to access him. Now, he is going to raise the bar over here a little bit. Here he is saying, whatever you do, it's not like you do all the different things throughout the day and maybe three times you go in front of Lord and offer the one fruit, one flower, little water, one leaf. That's what you do three times a day and your job is done. That's not the case. Now you'll have to make your life all encompassing, dedicated to Krishna. It's not like fully dedicated, it's not like the topmost level also, but it is a step forward from the previous verse. Here, Krishna is saying, whatever you do. So we do many work, many works throughout the day. So whatever you do. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, thus it is a duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. So in carpentry also, there is a term called dovetailing. Dovetailing means, here the meaning is we have certain propensity. We want to live our life in a certain way. So Krishna is saying that it's not required at this juncture to change your life, but you just mold your life for the service of Krishna, for satisfying Krishna. For example, let's say I love Rasgulla, and let's say I buy Rasgulla from market, and it is placed in front of me, and I don't ask any question because I know I'm a good person, I'm an honest person, I'm a good boy. I have offered one leaf, little water, one fruit to Krishna. Patram pushpam phalam tvayam. I offered to Krishna. So I have done my homework. And now I have the right to eat anything voraciously because I am already certified good boy or good girl. So that's not the case. Now, whatever is coming in my plate, I should think, is it already offered to Krishna? So that thought should come. So it's yad asnasi. So like whatever we eat, it should be offered to Krishna first. So Krishna is not saying, mm, you have a lot of sugar, you should stop eating rasgulla. Mm. Krishna is not saying that. That is up to us to understand. That is up to us to follow the doctor's advice and all. That's another thing. But Krishna is satisfied if we offer that rasgulla to Krishna first and then eat. That is good enough. So in that case, Krishna is not stopping our habit of eating rasgulla. But it is the case is we're dovetailing this. Means we are offering this to Krishna first and then we are eating. It's a big, big um, change in our life. Very nice change in our life because we are putting Krishna in the center instead of putting ourselves in the center. And if we think through that, why Krishna is saying that, how it is going to benefit me, what is going to put a kind of samskar in my mind, all those things, if we think about, it's very, very positive. But the most important thing is Krishna will be pleased because we are following his instruction. That's the most important thing. And in this process, we are remembering Krishna. It is mentioned in the scripture, which is the mother of all instructions. whatever you say, mother of or father of, I mean, the topmost instruction. What is that? Smartavyam satadam Vishnu, Vismartavyam na yatochit. Sarva vidhi nishedasya itarava kinkara. So in simple way, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That is the ultimate instruction of all Vedic literature. And all other instructions, whatever we have, every instruction or every prohibition, or in other words, every injunction and every other prohibition is subservient to this one instruction or one injunction and one prohibition. One injunction is always remember Krishna, and one prohibition is never forget Krishna. So they are the king of all instructions. So then we should try to mold our life in such a way that we reach to the pinnacle of all instructions. I mean, this particular instruction, we should be able to follow this. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body or her body and soul together. Means to keep our body and soul together, we need to work. So, and Krishna recommends here in that one should work for him. So it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita earlier also. Natu kaschit kshanam api means for a single moment, we cannot stay without working. Tishtati akarmakrit, karyati avashya karma, sarvaprakriti, karyati avashya karma. Means we must perform activity, karma. Sarvaprakriti jair guna. Means we are under the grip of material nature and we must perform activities. We must perform karma. We breathe, we eat. I mean, every moment we are doing some activity. To keep our body and soul together, we cannot do away with performing any karma or activity. So then the point is, why not do that for Krishna, to satisfy Krishna? In the 12th chapter also, Krishna talks about the ladder of devotional service. He talks about doing unalloyed devotional service to Krishna to please him. Now one may say, sorry, I'm not there. Then Krishna says, okay, then you do regulated devotional service. Then one said, sorry, I cannot do that also. Then Krishna gives further concession. He says, then you work for me. You do Krishna karma. Krishna karma is one maybe doing this thing, that thing or something. But let's say they're making a temple for Krishna. Or they're doing, sponsoring feast or doing these, that. Utilizing their resources for satisfying Krishna or for Krishna's purpose. Those are Krishna karma. So that is fine. That helps one to keep Krishna in the center. So whatever we do, we should perform that for satisfying Krishna. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. So we should offer foodstuff to Krishna and eat the prasadam. So we should prepare the bhoga nicely. Whatever we eat, I mean, it should be kind of programmed in our mind. And it takes time. It takes time. The day one, it may not be possible. If it is possible for someone, then probably that person have already performed devotional service from previous life and highly trained, and which is very, very nice. But for most of the people, they would take time to gradually come to this stage. Because it is already mentioned in the 13th verse of third chapter that if we take prasadam after offering to Krishna, then it can help us to get rid of many sinful reactions of previous life. But if we just cook food for our own sense gratification and eat that. He says that if we don't offer to anybody, just eat that. Then he uses very strong word that is called stena. Stena means thief. Even if we don't offer to demigods also, then it is like we're a thief. Uh, but he's saying that if we offer to demigods and take demigods prasadam, then actually we won't be called thief, but we won't be able to get rid of sinful reactions. If you want to get rid of sinful reactions, then we must offer the bhoga to Krishna and then take prasadam. Yajñāṣiṣṭasya sinta santa mucchante sarva kilvisha bhunjate ta agham papam ye pachante atma karana. For atma karana, for our own sense gratification, if we prepare food and eat, then bhunjate to means we end up eating agham papam, lot of seeds. Otherwise, if you offer to Lord, then muchante sarva kilvisha. From all misgivings, all previous bad karmic reactions, we can get rid of. If you offer food to Krishna and then take the prasadam. So that's very, very basic, but it works wonderfully. How it internally works, it's all Krishna's mechanism, but it works wonderfully. Uh, I mean, all of us would like to get rid of sins, and to do so, people do a lot of things. But people would like to do one-time activity. They don't want to do it in a regulated way. If you tell them, okay, go to Kumbh Mela or go to, take bath in the Ganges and get rid of sins and all, they will happily do it. But if you tell them every day you take Krishna Prasadam, oh, it's a difficult task. Every day doing the same thing, everything what I'll eat, I'll have to offer to Krishna. Oh, it's so difficult. But it works wonderfully if one can practice that. Sometimes one can end up becoming a devotee just by taking this, knowingly or unknowingly, but just by taking Krishna Prasadam, because there's a lot of mercy involved in eating Prasadam. That's why here Krishna is saying, Yat Asnasi, whatever you eat. If we eat something which is Prasadam and something which is not Prasadam, then we are not getting the full benefit. That's why he's saying, whatever you eat. So, Krishna said, whatever you eat, you first offer to me, then eat. Any civilized man has to perform some religious, ritualistic ceremonies. That juhosi. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. It is called archana. So, dharma, that is the differentiating factor between pashu or animal and human being. Ahar nidra bhayamaytunaj. Samanat ita pasubhi nara. The nara or human being and pashu both gets involved in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Ahar nidra bhayamaytunaj. Everybody is eating. Level of sophistication may be different, but everybody is eating, everybody is sleeping. Again, the sophisticacy is different for different species. Eating, sleeping, mating, everybody is enjoying. The way they enjoy that differs from one species to another species, from one person to another person. And defending, everybody is defending. And interestingly, on a side note, if one person has all things available for sense gratification in a room, all different ways they can enjoy, means all things what one can dream of is available in a particular room. There is only one problem. There is a snake out there, poisonous snake also there in that room. Then sense gratification goes out the door, right? Nothing works. Sense gratification never comes in mind. What comes in mind is defense, self-defense. So it is like that. So defense is something what we are always thinking about, all species, including human being. So when we are engaged in these four, including man, I mean human being and animals, what differentiates us from the animals? It is our dharma. Hmm. Dharma differentiates between human being and species, other animals. Dharmana hina pashuvi samana. So if we don't have dharma, dharma means our spiritual practice. That makes us different because in this human form of life, we can practice spirituality and we can go back to Godhead. That is not possible in the other species of life. So everybody may not understand spirituality. Some people think it is ritualistic ceremonies and all, religious process and all. Whatever one understands, everything should be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna. So then one will get purified. And then everyone has tendency to give something in charity. So um, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Jagya, Dana, Tapa, these three things, Pavanani, Manushinam, that even the highly elevated person also gets purified by doing these three. Jagya, Dana, Tapa. Yajna means sacrifice. In this age of Kali, that is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the recommended sacrifice. Dana means giving charity. We give charity, and the best kind of charity is to give charity for propagation of Krishna consciousness. And then tapa, austerity. So we do different kinds of austerity. This four regulative principle is also austerity. And then there are other austerities like we do follow Ekadashi Brata and other bratas. There are other austerities we follow. So everything is linked to Krishna because we are not told other than Ekadashi, other than the days which are related to Krishna, you need to do fasting. That's what is not recommended because everything should be dovetailed as per Krishna consciousness so that we become more and more Krishna conscious. That's the idea. So it's not like rampantly we keep on doing fasting on any day and every day for any cause or every cause. Those who want to please everybody can please nobody. And Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam. Ekam, only one. Just surrender unto Krishna. So it is said that Sharanagati has two aspects. One is Akinchanata and other aspect is Anandagatityam. Akinchanata means I don't have any other material shelter other than you. And Anandagatityam means I don't have any other spiritual shelter also other than you. So you are everything. So that's what is Krishna for his devotees. Now, obviously, that is Sharanagati, that is higher level. But what we are talking about is dovetailing, which is somewhere in between. But I'm just telling this to show that where we need to go, where it will lead us to for that purpose. So mm, we talked about charity. So Krishna is saying, give it to me. So whatever we want to give in donation, we should give it to Krishna. Now, let's say we may find some beggars on the street. So now we think, oh, I'm feeling very compassionate and I want to give some money to the beggar. And we don't know the background. The beggar may misuse that money. And whatever the karmic reaction the beggar will get for spending that money in a wrong way, that karmic reaction will come to us also because we became the cause for that. On the other hand, if we are offering food to Krishna and if we are giving that prasadam uh, to the beggar, then what will happen? The Not only it will just fill up the stomach, one may say, okay, next time the beggar will again feel hungry. Okay, we are not denying that. But for that time, the stomach will be filled, or at least get some relief. But most importantly, he'll get mercy of Krishna, because that prasadam carries the mercy of Krishna. That unknown sukriti will be there, and who knows, very soon the devotional journey may start for that person, which can never happen otherwise, even if we give millions of dollars to the person. So that's very, very, you know, important for us to engage ourselves in devotional service and try to engage others in devotional service, or at least create some opportunity for others. So our charity is best when it is directed for that purpose. Sometimes we may distribute books which carries the transcendental knowledge about Krishna or Krishna's message. So that's a great charity, or topmost charity, Divya Gyan, that gets transmitted through Srila Prabhupada's books. So that's a great charity. Prasadam is another thing. Hmm. So that way we can give charity. This is transcendental charity, and that will change one's consciousness from material platform to spiritual platform. And that's the most important aspect of human form of life, because we want to go back to Godhead and we want those opportunities unknowingly. I mean, those who are into material life, their soul is looking for it. Everybody is looking for some satisfaction here and there, some pleasure. But it is nothing but frustration, because material pleasure is never lasting. It cannot give lasting pleasure. We discussed that in the 522 verse. So when you connect somebody to Krishna through transcendental knowledge, through prasadam, or through association, through deity, whatever, then one gets satisfaction from within. One becomes happy, because that's the need of the soul. So when any charity is directed towards that, that's the greatest charity. Krishna should be in the center. So when Krishna says, give it to me, it's not like we give it to Krishna and that's it. He'll eat it up, or, no. Means we keep Krishna in the center. We give in such a way so that Krishna is pleased. If we have surplus money, we can donate to the temple. We can utilize that money for propagating Krishna consciousness. And that is the best utilization of money. Because everybody in the society is not earning money. In fact, out of the uh, four ashramas, only one ashram is earning. Brahmacharis are not earning. Then grihasthas, they are earning. Vanaprasthis, they are not earning. And sannyas, they are also not earning. So only grihasthas are earning. And therefore, grihasthas has the responsibility of maintaining all other three, including themselves. So that's a big responsibility. That's why the charity comes into picture. Otherwise, the society is not going to function properly. If sannyasis are maintained, then who will provide the highest level of spiritual knowledge, along with how to live life according to that? That sannyasi can show us at the highest level, highest level of perfection. So that's why it is important to give charity, and the suggestion is to give 50% of our income. Now, everybody may not be in a position to give 50%. Those who are very rich, definitely they can give 50% or even more. Uh, so based on one's capability, one can give, and in spirit, it should be there. I want to give more and more, more and more, because it is said that there are, three things in which one should be always satisfied, and three things one should not be always satisfied. Hmm. So one of the thing where one should not be satisfied is the charity one gives. One should never be satisfied with the level of charity they are giving. Another thing in that category is sadhai. So whatever studies we are doing, we should not be too much satisfied with that. And bhakti, of course, that I have done this much bhakti. 16 rounds I have chanted today. That is good enough. I don't have to do much. So, these things we should not be satisfied with. Mm. And, just in the side notes, other three things which are said that one should be satisfied of, that is, one should be satisfied with one's spouse, second, one's income, and third is one's whatever one is eating. One should be satisfied with that. This very nice way, satisfaction and dissatisfaction, we just cannot define by ourselves. And that will come, that will fit nicely in the next verse. That if we just think, okay, I think this is good for me, or I think this is Shubha, or this is Ashubha, this is good or bad, whatever we think, we need to align that with Shastra. We need to look through Shastra Chakshu, not whatever we feel is perfect is not good. For example, if I feel that if I don't give any charity and keep all the money in my pocket, it will help me to become richer very quickly. So that's the standard understanding, but that's not the way it works. Uh, we need to give charity also. So that's the way it is. Now, nowadays, people are very much inclined to meditational process. Yet tapasya konta. So there, uh, Prabhupada is saying nowadays people are very much inclined to meditation process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditation on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra rounds around his beats, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So people have concept of yoga. So there are very, very different concepts of yoga, and it is like funny gymnastics to be at best, you can say, in these days. First of all, what means yoga? And I think the first question will be the last question for them, because we may not be able to proceed further because they won't be able to answer that. Yoga means to connect. To connect with whom? To connect with the Supreme. That was the purpose of yoga. People think yoga means some kind of gymnastics through which you can have more satisfaction in your life. That's the way they think. Long back, I read somewhere newspaper or some article somewhere. It was, I mean, I was astonished. So, I mean, for preaching purpose, I picked it up from there. Uh, Only once I heard about it, not twice, but it caught my attention. Some people were doing goat yoga. Mm, goat, the small goats. With that, they were doing yoga. What kind of yoga is that? They were kind of on their, uh, putting their front side on the ground. They were laying down, and um, they're putting goats on their back, small, small goats. And these goats were walking on their back, and they're having very nice feelings, and they're calling this goat yoga. Mm. Obviously, the person who is conducting those must be charging very hefty money. But what kind of benefit they are getting spiritually? Absolutely zero. Can say negative also. But materially also, I don't know how much, but that's what people come up with. And anything new you come up with, you can make a lot of money. Doesn't matter whether you are getting misguided, whether you are misguiding others. Andha yata andha upaniyamana. A blind person is showing path to another blind person. That's what is going on in the name of yoga these days. So people don't know the meaning of yoga. So much of yoga days, yoga practice, this and that. They don't know the meaning. So asana, pranayam, all those things are there also in Ashtanga yoga. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, dhyan, dharana, pratyahara. All those things are there. But it is for a purpose. It is for a purpose of connecting with Krishna. They pick up small thing out from their asana and all. Okay, keep on doing this asana. What is the benefit? You will get good health. With the good health, what are we going to do? You will have a long life with good health. With that, what we are going to do? That's it. Don't you, like to have good health throughout your life? Yes. Then what? Does it mean that I'm not going to die? No, you'll die. You'll die with good health without much disease and all. Okay, okay. So this is going to be a temporary relief. It's not permanent solution. And also, it doesn't guarantee. Even if you have, you may, from your side, you may not contribute to have ill health, which is good. But due to karmic reaction, with that kind of yoga also, one may have uh, problem, one may have disease in life. So we just cannot prevent it by doing some gymnastics. So what is yoga? As Krishna says in 47th verse of 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham yad gatinam antaratmana saddhavan bhajate yamam yukte tamamata. Means the best kind of yoga is when we always remember Krishna. Within our consciousness, we always remember Krishna. That is the best kind of yoga. And we need to reach up to that state. That's the ask. That is real yoga. We need to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And other things are just gymnastics, as Prabhupada also says. And that will never take us anywhere. So eventually, we need to be more and more Krishna conscious progressively. That will give us highest benefit in our life. So with that, we completed the 28th verse. Now I'll move on to verse number 29. So what happens when we follow this procedure? Means dovetail our life accordingly and live accordingly. Then what happens? Now, by the way, there is a discussion between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. And in that discussion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uh, asked Ramananda Rai to tell what is the best procedure or process for getting the best out of this human life. Hmm. So, in response, means what is the best way to get the sadhya in our life? So, in that, Ramananda Rai started responding that Varnashram, if you just follow Varnashram system, that is good enough. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it's external, encouraging him to speak more and more. And then he came to this verse, Yat Karashi Yat Asnasi. Obviously, that conversion goes on and on. It goes higher and higher and higher. But obviously, that is at higher level. Now, if we follow that instruction given in the 27th verse, what happens? That is spoken in 28th verse. Shubha Shubha Phaler Evam Moksha Se Karma Bandhane Sanyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukta Mam Upashasi. Shubha Shubha Phaler Evam Moksha Se Karma Bandhane Sanyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukta Mam Upashasi. So the word for word for this verse is Shubha, from auspicious, Ashubha, and inauspicious. Phale, results, evam, thus, moksha se, you will become free. Karma, of work, bandhani, from the bondage, sannyasa, of renunciation, yoga, the yoga, yukta atma, having the mind firmly set on, vimukta, liberated, mam, to be Vaishasi, you will attain. So the translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in the principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. So the point is, we want to get liberated from the effect of inauspicious and inauspicious results of our work. And how to do so? That only can be achieved by the instruction given in the previous verse, as we just read. And that way, eventually, mind will be fixed on Krishna in the principle of renunciation. And eventually, one will attain Krishna. So, there are many, many material things we are doing. So, we just introduce little bit of Krishna consciousness and keep on increasing the amount. So, what will happen eventually? It will be all Krishna consciousness only. That means we let in Krishna. So that's the idea. So one who acts in Krishna consciousness under superior direction is called Yukta. The technical term is Yukta Vairagya. So we have heard this is very, very popular term in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Yukta Vairagya. And our Acharya Rupa Goswami has given the definition, Anasakta Savishan Yatharam Upayunjitaha Nirvandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Coming from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Rupa Goswami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. And we cannot cease acting. So we must act as we discussed in the previous verse also. Therefore, if action is performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Now, we have nature and accordingly we'll act. But if we give the fruits to Krishna, that is Yukta Vairagya. At the time of formatting year of ISKCON, the beginning years, there were devotees who, as per the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, used to work outside. And whatever money they used to earn, they used to give everything at the end of the month to Srila Prabhupada. After earning everything, they used to give to Prabhupada. Now the point is, everybody was not doing same kind of job. Somebody was driving taxi, somebody was a professor, somebody was doing accounting, something like that. Different person doing different thing. Why different persons are doing different thing? Because that's their nature. So it's not like everybody is going to a temple and just doing some worship and getting some money. No, everybody is not doing the same thing. Everybody is doing different things based on their nature. That nature is not changed, neither curtailed. But at the end, they are getting some results. That result is given to Krishna through Guru. Hmm. That's the point. Now, they were totally dedicated. So they are giving 100%. We may not be that much dedicated. So at least we should give some percentage to Krishna. That's the idea. That's for our purification. Because if we don't give some portion of our income to Krishna, then our income won't get purified. So then we'll, do with our impure income. There are implications out of it. So some part we should give to Krishna. Now, actually situated, now this is called Yukta Vairagya. There is another term called Falgu Vairagya. Uh, so what is Falgu Vairagya? Falgu Vairagya means false renunciation, or Markat Vairagya. Like if we talk about a monkey lives in the forest and doesn't wear any cloth, and monkey eats all vegetarian diet, and monkey lives in the forest means like sages also stay in the forest. So that way they are very renounced, but they have many girlfriends, and they are very active in engaging in enjoyment with them. So that way, that kind of renunciation is nothing but Markat Vairagya or Falgu Vairagya. But here it is opposite. Here we are talking about Yukta Vairagya, means anything which can be utilized for the service of Krishna should never ever be discarded. So even Arjuna was trying to leave the battlefield and go in the forest and start begging. Then he actually is doing for himself in that case. But later on, as per the instruction of Krishna, when he was fighting for the pleasure of Krishna. He was totally into it. So therefore, we cannot just call it Daptalim. It was pure devotional service. But the idea is this, to do things for the pleasure of Krishna. So we need to perform our action and then offer the fruit to Krishna. So initially what happens? Let's say first thing is called, you can say, if we do whimsical activity, this is nothing but vikarma. So it is very lowest, it's lowest level. Then comes karma kandya. Karma kandya means following the Vedas. We do some activities for our mm, pleasure because we want to go to heaven or something like this. This is karma kandya. Or we want to fulfill our material desire. So this is karma kandya. Then comes sakam karma yoga. Sakam karma yoga means we are connecting with Krishna, keeping Krishna at the center. But sakam means we have some desire, but we have put Krishna in the center. So we are giving some results to Krishna. Some portion of our income or whatever result we are getting, we are giving to Krishna. This is called sakam karma yoga. Then when you get further elevated, then we get involved in nishkam karma yoga. Nishkam karma yoga means all our results we are going to give to Krishna, but we'll stick to our profession or whatever activity we are doing. We'll stick to that. We are not going to change that, but we'll give all the results to Krishna. This is Nishkam Karma Yoga. And then when you go further, then we will even sacrifice our profession and all for the pleasure of Krishna. Then we'll act according to Krishna also. It's not like we are going to act according to our whims or our nature. As per whatever Guru says and all, we'll act according. So this is called Bhakti Yoga, because then we are totally surrendered. We are not even acting as per our desire. So that's the case. That's the progression. Okay. I mean, progression for most of the people. Some people may have, faster progress also. That's different. So therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya, just discussed. Actually situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of mind, and as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one may gradually progress in that way, may go to Bhakti Yoga, then become, uh, you know, um, a Vaidhi sadhana, may perform Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, then gradually progress further Raganuga bhakti, and then eventually go to pure devotional service. So that way one would progress in devotional service. So therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated. And this liberation is also specified. What kind of liberation? People keep on saying moksha or kaivalyam or something like that. So that kind of liberation is not mentioned over here. So this is liberation. This liberation is different. This is not moksha. This is vimukti. So here, like we know, there are five kinds of liberation: sarupyo, samipyo, sayujyo, sasti, salukyo. So Vaishnavas never look for sayujya, means to merge with Brahmajyoti or merge with Lord. That is impersonal liberation. So we don't look for it. So that is the case. But in this case, it is about going back to Godhead. This is personal liberation, not impersonal. So by this liberation, he does not become one with the Brahmajyoti, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here, Mam Upasasi. He comes to me, back home, back to God. So there are five different stages of liberation as we discussed, and it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to God and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. So it's a direct association of the Lord after getting liberated. Anyone who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually sannyasi. So Krishna is in the picture, and one is totally dedicating one's life, all activities. Then they are sannyasi. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. So always depending on mercy of Lord, supreme will of Lord. And as such, whatever he does, it does it for the benefit of the Lord, keeping Krishna in the center. কৃষ্ণেন্দ্রিয়া যে আত্মেন্দ্রিয়া প্রীতি বাঞ্ছা ধরে তারে বলি কাম কৃষ্ণেন্দ্রিয়া প্রীতি ইচ্ছা ধরে প্রেম নাম means if you're trying to satisfy our senses then that is called lust, but if you're trying to satisfy the senses of Krishna then that is called love. So that's the way it is governed. Devotees are always trying to satisfy the senses of Krishna, not their senses. Mixture may be there, but gradually it becomes purified in due course of time. So whatever action he performs, it performs as it as a service to the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the fruitive activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary personalities, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually it is not so. Because devotees are going for higher purpose, not for ordinary purpose, not for going to heaven or doing some ritualistic activities. And other people may not understand that they are striving for higher purpose. It is mentioned that তাদের তারা বাক্যে ক্রিয়া মুদ্রা বিজ্ঞে না বুঝে. So Vaishnava's activities or words, even a very learned person may not be able to understand because they are always doing things for pleasure of Krishna. Others are doing for their own pleasure. So they will never understand why the person is doing certain activity in a certain way. So that's Vaishnava. They are the Vaishnavas, and they are very grave. It's like a shark in the deep ocean. People don't understand where are they, what are they doing. I mean, in terms of consciousness, everybody, ordinary person definitely cannot, or even a very knowledgeable person may not be able to understand why they do certain things in a certain way. You may find that they're very busy. They're like restless, doing this thing, that thing. You say, why this person is so restless? Actually, that person is thinking that I don't want to spend a single moment unnecessarily in a wasteful way. I want to utilize every moment for the service of Krishna. Because of that, that person may be restless. But we may think, oh, this person is restless. Even the dharmic people are not so restless. So we may not be able to understand. So a person who is thus always engaged in the service of Lord is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord is to be considered completely liberated at present. Jivan mukta sauchyate. It's at this point when they are totally engaged in the service of Lord, they're as good as liberated while living in this body. And in future, is going back home, back to God, it is guaranteed, is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. One cannot just bluntly criticize this. It's useless because they are doing everything for the service of Krishna. They have come out of all Shubha, Ashubha. Materialistic Shubha and Ashubha doesn't apply on them. That this is Shubha, uh, and this way, if you do, this is very auspicious, that is inauspicious. It's not so applicable. It's all about whether Krishna is pleased or not. And that will give them vimukti. That will give them moksha. They'll go back to Godhead just by pleasing Krishna. Jatha taru mule nishachana tipanti yat skanda bhujapashaka. Right? So just by watering the root of the tree, Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, Krishna bhakti koile sarva karma krita hai. Saddha sabde vishwasa shrudhrida nishchay. Krishna bhakti koile sarva karma krita hai. That is the faith. That if we just engage in devotional service to Krishna, everything else will be fulfilled. All Shubha or Shubha, everything will be taken care of by Krishna. Because Bhakti is most auspicious, and chanting of Hare Krishna is the best way in this age of Kali to perform Krishna Bhakti. Because this is Madhuram Madhurabhyabi, Mangalam Mangalabhyabi, Mangalabhyabi Mangalam, and Pavanam Pavanam. So it's most auspicious, and it's rids us of all sinful reactions, and it is very, very sweet. Therefore, we should keep on chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Any question, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Uh, yes, I have a few questions. As you were saying, like explaining the verses, I was thinking about those. Can I ask now?
Okay. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. So, one is that when we want to do charity, we should do it for the pleasure of Krishna, like charity for for building temple or for bhoga, or we can make bhoga and offer it to Krishna and offer that prasadam to others. That type of charity we should do, right? So it happens many a times, like it's a very practical thing that happens. Like many roadside, many people, like they come to us and they ask for money. And how do we tackle that situation? We cannot say that we won't give you, we'll give only to Krishna, or we'll give you only at that time if we are not having prasadam also with us. So how to, like, at that situation, what should we do?
See, the first thing is if you have prasadam, that is best. And
Hmm.
see, it is not recommended, but little bit if we have the right consciousness, then we can give that we are giving for Krishna. But best thing is to give prasadam because then we are sure that it's not going to create any reaction. And obviously, we may not have change also many times, right? It's not always we are speaking live, right? We may not have change also, and you know we should have that consciousness. Consciousness should be right that, okay, I'm giving this for gaining some piety and all. That should not be the right understanding. It
Hmm.
should be always for serving Krishna. That should be the mood. And best thing is to give prasad. That I would say.
Money we cannot give, like if someone is asking for money, so we and if we have the change, it is okay if I just say no because I don't want to like incur the karma if that person is doing some wrong things with that money. So,
Better not to give, but it's not like I won't say it's always no or something. If the person is really needy and in Krishna consciousness, thinking about Krishna, that we can give. Think that I am giving to, thinking of Krishna and giving that way. If the really situation is like that, you just cannot escape or something like that. That
oh, okay, okay. And Prabhuji, like you said, whatever we do, we should offer to Krishna. Like the 27th verse says that we should offer everything to Krishna. For any mundane activity, if you are unable to dovetail it to spiritual one, like any activity, someone is going to one job and we cannot just one particular aspect of the job, if we are not able to dovetail it, how to offer it, like you were saying in the previous class that we should offer it to Krishna at the end of the day, so how to do that practically?
Yeah, so obviously this is the for the reminder part, right? So reminder part at the end of the day, you say, Krishna, I might have performed many, many activities throughout the day where my consciousness was not on you. So, now in a cumulative way, I for the entire day's work, I would like to offer to you, you know, please accept those. The results of that, please accept those.
So we can just pray like that and say like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the next question?
Yeah, I was asking you that it's just like we need to, at the end of the day, we can just offer the non spiritual activities to Krishna, and that would be like offering to Krishna, right? Just by saying we can offer.
Yes, yes, like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And Prabhuji, like one thing I want to say, like it's my personal feeling that charity and all you're saying, but I feel that for charity, even if I have money, it's better to personally engage in the service. And I mean, it's like more satisfactory to engage in the service rather than giving money. So it's like I have this opinion till now. Maybe when I'll earn, it will be different. So, like, is it right or like for charity we need to give money, like 50%? You said that is the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah. While doing the activity, which is better actually. For example, mm, let's say we need to distribute Bhagavad Gita. So
Hmm.
we can give money also. We can say, okay, I'm sponsoring 10 Bhagavad Gitas, I'm giving this much money.
Hmm.
Compared to that, if you take those 10 Bhagavad Gitas and distribute to people, then it gives much more pleasure,
Yes.
right? Because we are engaged in it's devotional service, right? And there also it is devotional service, but it's not like a total involvement. So that's why the satisfaction level is little lesser. So
Yes.
yeah, that's the case. Yeah. So
So
does that
both
answer?
are right.
Yeah, both are right. Wherever, whatever is possible. It's all situation. Everything may not be possible, right? Somebody may be during book marathon time. Somebody may be sick. They want to contribute, so they can give some money. But somebody is having time, available time. They can go and distribute books. So then they can do that also. However,
So
it
it's
is
better
possible.
to,
Yeah, by
it's
person.
better to engage. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And that one is fine. Thank you for answering. And another question I had is you said about Sharanagati, the two types of Sharanagati. Could you please explain once more, like what you said about the two types? I did not get it.
It is not two types, it's a two aspects of akinchanatam anandagatatam. Means akinchanatam means one is not depending on anything material, whatever they have. They don't have any material shelter. They're not depending on the money they have, manpower, or whatever resources one may have. They're not depending on that. That is called akinchinattam. And anannagatatta means one is not seeking any other spiritual shelter. One is not saying, okay, Krishna, I am going to other devis and all, though it's material shelter anyway, but one may, wrongly think that's the point. So that's the point. Akinchanatam, anandagatitam.
Oh,
Both are Sharanagati only, the two aspects of Sharanagati.
okay. Completely like depending upon Krishna for each and everything. That is the
Yeah,
main like core of Sharanagati. Okay,
yes, yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other question?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you again for joining the session, Mataji.
Thank you to
So,
you too, Prabhuji, for conducting wonderful session.
okay. Thank you.
These
So
two
we are
verses
going
were
to,
very nice. Yes,
okay, you can read those also. So that will help to understand better.
sure, I will.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Srila Prabhupada
Prabhuji.
ki jai.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Jai.